Hi, it's Kim, and I'm talking to you now about Assessment Task 2 for TEP427 in 2019. So your second assessment task for TEP427 is the creation of a Stage 5 History ICT teaching resource. It's due on the 10th of June, and please submit it by, at the latest, 1 minute to midnight on that day. The task is worth 50%. So what is this task about? You are creating an ICT, so Information Communication Technology teaching resource. You will include, as part of this teaching resource, a literature review, lesson plans, and all lesson resources, and there are more details about these following. Okay, make sure you complete all parts of the task. There are 4 parts to the task, and all parts must be completed and submitted in one document on the due date. So part 1 is to conduct a literature review. You have 1,500 words for this lit review. The word count excludes the reference list. You have plus or minus 10%. If you look at the marking criteria, you'll see there's plus or minus 10% on the word count. Use APA style to reference all of your work in educational studies. A literature review is a very specific form of writing. If you have never ever written a literature review at all in your studies, I really strongly recommend that you find out firstly what is a literature review, and what does one look like, and what's a style of writing for such a form of writing. It is a specific genre of writing, and if you're not familiar with it, please make sure that you become familiar with it before you start preparing your response to this part of the task. So as you conduct your literature review, I have given you some suggestions for your search terms. You don't have to keep to these are just suggestions, and they're not limiting. So you could go searching for technology enhanced pedagogy, ICT and pedagogy, ICT and teaching, teaching history, technology and teaching. Have a look and see what you can find there. I want you to target journals that are Q1, Q2 or Q3. Now you can find out the journal rankings for each journal by going to this site that I've listed here. That's a really good site to use. If you type in the name of your journal, it will come up quite clearly and tell you what the ranking is, in what quartile the journal is ranked. And the ranking is based on the previous year. So if you're searching right now, I don't actually know whether 2018 rankings will be available, so you may well be working on the 2017 rankings, and that's just fine. If the 2018 rankings are available, it will just be there, you'll see it. Now you are going to, as you do your literature review, I'm asking you to look for literature published within the past 3 to 5 years. Okay, so I don't want to see anything in your literature review that is any older than 5 years. Okay, so that's your lit review. The second part of the assignment, and I guess I should say, sorry, back to the lit review, that this is meant to provide the scholarly basis for the creation of your ICT resource. So let's now talk about what that ICT resource is. In the first instance, so part 2 of the task, I'm asking you just to give me a 500 word overview of that task. You have plus or minus 5%, plus or minus 10%, plus or minus 10% on your overview of resource, and that excludes a reference list. This is purely descriptive, okay? This should be very straightforward and easy, this part of the task. You're just providing a description of your Stage 5 History ICT teaching resource. Your description should make reference to some of the literature you reviewed in part 1, as well as any appropriate syllabus documents. But it is a descriptive response in part 2, so quite straightforward for you. Part 3, this is your lesson plans. Now these don't have a word count, but they've got to be an appropriate length and detail for each lesson. So in this task, I'm asking for 3 linked and sequential lesson plans, appropriate for integrating the Stage 5 History ICT resource you have created. The lesson resources, again, this is part 4 of the task I'm talking about now. There's no word count, but they must be an appropriate length and detail for each lesson. Include all lesson resources for the 3 planned lessons, so any student worksheets you create, if you create video material, and make sure that you have that video material sitting. Probably the easiest place is in YouTube, and include a hyperlink so that the marker can have a look at that resource. So any resource you're going to use in the classroom for those 3 lessons, you need to have created it, and we need to be able to see it in your submission. When you submit, as with task 1, please make sure that you start a new page for each part of the task, that you clearly label each part of the task with parts 1, 2, 3 and 4. You must submit the document in one document, so you must submit your response in one document, and if you convert your file to PDF, it will help maintain the formatting of your document. As always, come down here and have a look at your performance descriptors, okay, and you will see here that what we're looking for in the literature review is a review that's detailed, that's cohesive, well written. Well written, it means clear expression, accurate grammar, good paragraph structure, sequential heading sequences and so on. We're looking for insightful literature review that demonstrates a critical understanding, and that it is written in the appropriate style. That's why it's really important that you know what is required in a literature review before you start writing it. We are looking in the description of the ICT resource just that it is detailed. So over here we want to make sure that it's detailed and that it's well-written description. This part should be fairly straightforward for you, I do hope. We are looking that your lesson plans, that they're detailed, creative, that they're linked, and that they're sequential. Okay, it's also going to be important that they're appropriate for the stage 5 classroom that you're designing them for. And then lastly, your lesson resources, we want to see that they're demonstrating, again, creativity, originality. Okay, so all of the lesson resources you have to create. We don't want to see any YouTube videos that are just downloaded and a link provided there. If you want a video, you need to create it. So the resources need to be creative, they need to be original, so all your own work, coherent, so they need to make sense, and they need to be, again, appropriate in terms of the pedagogical design, together with showing a deep and critical understanding of the demands of integrating ICT into the teaching of stage 5 history. You can work through the other performance descriptors down there as it goes. If you have any questions that you want to ask about the assessment task, that's absolutely fine. Please be in touch with me. Any questions that you send to me, I will de-identify. I will post the question and my answer to it, probably through the announcements channel. I just want to make sure that all students across all 3 tutorial classes have exactly the same information. So do flick me an email, and like I said, I won't put your name to it, but I will put the question up for everyone so that they can see what questions are being asked. And no doubt if you're asking it, other students will have that question too. You can of course talk to each other about it on your general discussion forum, but I don't monitor that general discussion forum. So if you want something specifically answered from me, please just send me an email and I will talk to you about that. You will also see in the schedule of tutorial sessions for 2019 that there are 2 sessions devoted to 2 modules devoted to tutor consultation. So that's to allow myself and Francesca the time for us to talk to you about what you're creating for your assessment tasks, and just hopefully to make sure everyone's on track with the task requirements. Okay, that's enough from me. Good luck, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.